Unaware the pregnant wife he divorced was the multi-billionaire owner of the company his entire family worked for. Daniel's mother launched a bucket of filthy mop water on Maria, 8 months pregnant, standing at the doorway of the home she'd paid for. His mother stood there with a twisted smile of satisfaction. Daniel, her husband, didn't flinch. He just wrapped his arm tighter around his mistress and laughed. That cold, hollow laugh that still echoes in Maria's nightmares. Maria's hands instinctively covered her swollen belly as the dirty water soaked through her maternity dress, dripping onto the floor she'd mopped 1,000 times before. She didn't scream, didn't cry. She just looked at Daniel, the man she'd loved with everything she had, and saw absolutely nothing looking back. In that moment, something inside her didn't break. It awakened, because Maria wasn't who they thought she was. And the truth watching from the shadows would soon humble them all. Sit back and enjoy this unbelievable story. Let us know in the comments where you're watching from. We'd love to hear from you. And if you're new here, click on the subscribe button, so you never miss any of our upcoming videos. Maria walked alone in the rain that night, clutching her stomach, her soaked dress clinging to her body. Her face was eerily calm, but her eyes held secrets that could crumble empires. She whispered to the child growing inside her, words too quiet for the wind to carry. Soon they will know. Behind her, Daniel's family celebrated. His mother had already called relatives, boasting about how her son finally got rid of that useless woman. Daniel posted a photo with his mistress on social media with the caption, "New beginnings." His co-workers at Lioncrest Manufacturing congratulated him, patting his back like he just won a promotion. They had no idea. None of them did. Because while they laughed and celebrated, Maria wasn't running away from her past. She was returning to who she really was. And that truth was about to turn their entire world upside down. 27 years ago, Maria was born into unimaginable wealth. Her parents were Jonathan and Catherine Reynolds, founders of Starlight Global Holdings, a multi-billion-dollar empire spanning technology, real estate, manufacturing, and international trade. When Maria was only 3 years old, her parents died in a private plane crash over the Atlantic. The world mourned the billionaire couple, but no one knew they'd left behind a daughter. For safety reasons, Maria's existence had been kept secret from the media, hidden from competitors and threats. She was raised by her grandmother in a quiet town in Pennsylvania, far from the glittering towers of Manhattan where her fortune sat waiting. Maria grew up normal. She played in the backyard, went to public school, made friends who had no idea she was an heiress. Her grandmother taught her humility, kindness, and the value of seeing people for who they truly were, not what they could offer. At 21, Maria inherited everything. Starlight Global Holdings, billions of dollars, properties across 6 continents. But she made a choice that shocked her legal team and financial advisors. She wanted to live as a regular person first. She wanted to experience life without the weight of wealth defining every relationship. So Maria moved to Ohio, rented a small apartment, and got a job as a cashier at a local grocery store. That's where she met Daniel. If this story is already stirring something in your heart, go ahead and hit that like button. Let's keep going. Daniel was charming at first. He worked at Lioncrest Manufacturing as a mid-level supervisor and came into the store every week. He was handsome, confident, and made Maria laugh. He asked her out after 3 months of small talk at the register. Maria said yes. For 2 years they dated. Daniel never asked about her family or her past. He liked that she was simple. He told her that all the time. "You're not complicated like other women," he'd say, as if it were a compliment. Maria loved him anyway. She believed in the goodness she thought she saw in him. When Daniel proposed, Maria said yes, hoping marriage would deepen their connection. But almost immediately after the wedding, things changed. Daniel's mother moved in with them without asking. She criticized everything Maria did, how she cooked, how she cleaned, how she dressed. Maria paid the rent, the utilities, even helped fund Daniel's mother's small online business. But the woman treated her like a servant. Daniel didn't defend her. He just shrugged and said, "That's how my mom is." Then came the pregnancy. Maria thought it would bring them closer. Instead, Daniel grew distant. He started coming home late. Stopped touching her. Stopped talking to her. Maria found out about the affair 6 months into her pregnancy when a coworker sent her screenshots of Daniel and a woman from his office laughing together at a hotel bar. When Maria confronted him, Daniel didn't even deny it. He said, "You got boring." His mother added, "You trapped him with that baby." The divorce happened 2 weeks before Maria's due date. Daniel's mother orchestrated it, saying her son deserved better than a nobody with no family and no future. Maria begged Daniel to wait until after the baby was born, just a few more weeks. He refused. He sat at the kitchen table, signed the papers with a pen his mistress had given him, and slid them across to Maria without looking her in the eyes. Maria signed. She had no fight left. But what Daniel didn't know, what none of them knew, was that Maria's security team had been watching the entire time. Discreet, professional, waiting for her signal. The day Maria walked out of that house with nothing but a small suitcase and her unborn child, she made a phone call. 3 words. "It's time now." Would you have waited as long as Maria did? Or would you have revealed the truth sooner? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Maria arrived at a private estate just outside the city that same night. Tall iron gates opened automatically. A long driveway lined with trees led to a mansion glowing with warm lights. Staff members rushed out to greet her with genuine concern and respect. Inside, the head of her legal team, her financial advisors, and the board members of Starlight Global Holdings stood waiting. They'd been managing her empire for years under her instructions, but now Maria was ready to step back into her role. She signed documents that night, transferring day-to-day authority back into her hands. And then she asked a simple question. Which companies do we own in this region? Her advisor pulled up a list. Manufacturing plants, tech startups, retail chains. And then one name appeared on the screen that made Maria pause. Lioncrest Manufacturing, the company where Daniel worked, where his mother worked part-time in HR, where his mistress was a project coordinator. Maria stared at the name for a long moment, then said calmly, "Schedule a mandatory meeting with all employees tomorrow. I'll be introducing myself as the owner." If you're loving this twist, smash that subscribe button because this story is about to get even more intense. The next morning, every employee at Lioncrest Manufacturing received an email. The subject line read, "Mandatory all-staff meeting with company owner." The office buzzed with confusion. Most employees didn't even know who owned the company. Daniel laughed when he saw the email. His mother rolled her eyes and muttered, "Probably some old rich man wanting to feel important." The mistress, Victoria, checked her makeup in her compact mirror and whispered to Daniel, "Maybe he'll notice me. I've been working on a promotion." Security preparations began outside the building. Black SUVs with tinted windows arrived. A red carpet was rolled out from the entrance to the parking lot. Employees peeked out windows, whispering nervously. Daniel leaned back in his chair, sipping coffee, completely unbothered. "Whoever this guy is," he said, "he better recognize talent when he sees it. I'm due for a promotion." Victoria giggled. His mother nodded approvingly. But then the convoy stopped. The doors opened, and Daniel dropped his coffee. Maria stepped out of the lead vehicle in a tailored black maternity gown that radiated power and elegance. Her hair was styled perfectly. Her posture was confident. Security flanked her on both sides as she walked slowly up the red carpet, her hand resting gently on her belly. Employees lined the hallways, staring in stunned silence. Daniel's mother grabbed the edge of a desk to steady herself. Victoria's face went pale. And Daniel looked like he'd seen a ghost. He stumbled backward, knocking over his chair. "No," he whispered. No, that's not possible." But it was. Maria walked into the conference room, and the entire company stood. She took her place at the head of the table, adjusted the microphone and spoke. Her voice was calm, clear and unshakable. "Good morning. My name is Maria Reynolds. I am the owner of Starlight Global Holdings, which includes this company, Lioncrest Manufacturing." The room erupted in gasps. Maria continued, "Today, I'm here to address reports of workplace misconduct, harassment, and bullying that have been brought to my attention." She looked directly at Daniel. His hands were trembling. "I'd like to call 3 individuals forward: Daniel Carter, Margaret Carter, and Victoria Simmons." Silence. No one moved. Security gestured for them to step forward. Slowly, shakily they did. Maria's eyes never left them. For months, she began, I endured cruelty in my personal life. I was called useless. I was humiliated. I was thrown out while pregnant with my child. And the people responsible are standing before me now. Daniel tried to speak, but his voice cracked. Maria, you divorced a billionaire, Maria said, her voice like ice. While I carried your child. You laughed while your mother threw dirty water on me. You posted pictures with your mistress while I slept on a friend's couch. You treated me like I was nothing. And now you know the truth. The room was frozen. Maria turned to the board. Effective immediately, Victoria Simmons is terminated for inappropriate conduct. Margaret Carter's contract is not renewed. And Daniel Carter is removed from his position with no severance. They begged. They cried. Margaret fell to her knees. Victoria sobbed uncontrollably. Daniel whispered, Please, Maria, please. Maria looked at him one last time. I gave you love. You gave me cruelty. This is not revenge. This is consequence. And then she walked out. If this gave you chills, hit that like button and let me know in the comments what you would have done. Daniel returned home that night to an empty house. Victoria blocked his number. His mother refused to speak to him, blaming him for everything. He sat alone in the dark, replaying every moment, every cruel word, every laugh, every time he chose pride over love. Meanwhile, Maria gave birth to a healthy baby girl in a private hospital suite surrounded by people who truly loved her. She named her Grace. 3 months later, Daniel showed up at Maria's estate, begging to see his daughter. Maria listened. Then she said, I forgive you, Daniel. But forgiveness doesn't mean access. She allowed supervised visits, nothing more. Daniel broke down, finally understanding what he'd lost. And Maria held baby Grace close, whispering, You will grow up knowing your worth. What would you have done if you were Maria? Would you have forgiven him? Let me know below. And if this story moved you, please like and subscribe for more powerful lessons. Because sometimes God removes people before they destroy your destiny.